Today I'm going to make some black bean burgers, and one of the first steps that you want to do is cook 2 cups of either brown rice or quinoa. So I didn't have any brown rice, so I chose quinoa, and it's a cup of quinoa, and then there are 2 cups of organic vegetable broth that are in this rice cooker that works perfect for quinoa as well. And all we're going to do is move it from keep warm to cook, and I'll put a lid on, and this will be ready, I don't know, like in 20 or 30 minutes. So while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the other ingredients. These little rice cookers are awesome, though I've never been successful with cooking rice very well in a pan, so these have been a lifesaver for me, so I'll include a link to that in the description of this video. And then the other utensil, or the other kitchen appliance that I'm going to use is this Cuisinart, which is a food processor, and I'll include a link to that. Another ingredient that you can prepare while your rice is cooking is a flax egg, and a flax egg is just finely milled flaxseed, and 1 tablespoon of that to 3 tablespoons of water, and then we're going to whisk it together and then allow the mixture to thicken just as it sits for 2. Okay, so I just finished whisking it, and this is a different kind of whisk. You can get it at Williams-Sonoma, and then I'm going to let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so far in my Cuisinart, I have put 1 can of black beans, 4 tablespoons of hickory barbecue sauce. Of course, you can, whatever barbecue sauce that you have on hand works. And then it called for a jalapeno, but I noticed that my jalapeno doesn't look so good. So I'm going to use a can of green chilies instead, and as a substitute for the jalapeno. But you could try either, whatever. Okay, and then you want 2 tablespoons of finely chopped onions. And I don't see why you can't add more than 2 tablespoons. Anything that has a lot of flavor, I always like to put a little bit more in. Alright, the next ingredient is molasses. And you just want 1 tablespoon of molasses. And then oat bran, you want 1 tablespoon of that. I wanted to mention too, if you have a difficult time trying to find these kind of products in your local grocery store, like the Bob's Red Mill, Vitacost.com is a great place to get everything and have it shipped to your door without paying tax if you don't live where Vitacost is located. So I'll include a link to Vitacost's website as well in the description. I put the beet juice in, which you can tell because the onions are hot pink. And then this beet, I would guess, if I chopped it up, would fit into 1 tablespoon. So that's the 1 beet. Now you're probably wondering, what on earth do I do with the rest of this can? I like to put it into a Pyrex dish or like a Ziploc container, and then use it for other recipes down the road. But those down the road have to be soon, or you could always double or triple this recipe and use more. Wanted to show you that the rice is already done cooking. It pops from cook to keep warm, and the light of the keep warm comes on, and as you can see, it's perfectly cooked and gorgeous. You want a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin powder or cumin seed, whatever you have on hand. Since it's all being processed up, it doesn't really matter. Then we want 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You'll notice that this is a CVS brand of black pepper. I'm a big couponer, and I do my best to get basic products like this free at CVS through couponing. If you want to learn how, I'll include a link in the description to the book that I sell online for $5 that will teach you how to save thousands of dollars a year. After the pepper, you want to add salt, and it requires and the black pepper is 1/4 teaspoon, and the salt is 1 teaspoon. And what I do to measure out my salt is I take out a little bowl, also that I got free at CVS, and I take the kosher salt and put it into that bowl so that I can easily measure. Then you want a tablespoon of jalapeno or green chilies. And this, I just pulled out one of the whole green chilies and loosely chopped it to put it in the Cuisinart. You know, if you buy chopped green chilies and want to scoop out a tablespoon, that is totally fine. And then a teaspoon of chili powder. Okay, so now our flax egg has set up, and it's basically just going to be used as a binding agent. So we'll toss that into the Cuisinart with the other ingredients. Okay, once all the ingredients are in your food processor, you just want to pulse it, because we're just looking to mix it really well. We're not too much looking to make it a puree. And then when it's done, we're going to mix in the quinoa by hand with a spoon so that the quinoa keeps its shape and adds a little more texture to our black bean. And this is the texture that you're shooting for. You can tell that it's mixed well, but it also still has some chunks to it to add a little bit of texture to the. Okay, so the mixture is pretty tacky now, and you want it to be tacky so it's easy to form into patties. And then in the meantime, I've been heating up some olive oil in a saute pan, because we're going to saute these in a pan to make them into burgers and have them cooked. Okay, once your oil is hot enough and you have formed the burgers into patties, then all you want to do is get them into your pan, and then you want to sear them on both sides. And one of the nice things about these burgers is that they're vegan, so there's nothing, I mean, you could eat them quote-unquote raw, because you don't have to worry about egg. Now, if you use an egg, you should make sure that they're cooked, but if you use the flax egg, then you don't have to worry as much. So we're making, that's about 4 burgers, and then I got about 2 more left in the mixture. And I like to keep a good eye on my burgers to make sure that they're searing and staying together, because that's one of the biggest challenges I have found about non-meat burgers, is keeping them together. Tell me your opinion though. I mean, if you're an expert at veggie burgers and stuff like that, or black bean burgers, I'd like to learn. Okay, so the last thing you're going to do is plate the burger, and you can put any fixings that you want on it. This is just a thin piece of bread, but you can add lettuce, tomato, whatever you have available or whatever you like on your burger, mustard, mayo, and the rest of them, if you're not going to eat them right away, then you want to just put them in a Pyrex dish or something to store them, but make sure you eat them in the next couple of days. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below.